Hello everyone and welcome back to another art behind the scenes video with Sharon Leung. Today I am doing a commission piece inspired by MOO DENG as well as Capybara. Now this is a commission piece for a close friend that is doing a surprise for another friend. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to use my art skills and create something very special. So this video will be a composite of like all the mini clips that I did to show you how I got from this blank piece of artwork to the full-blown MOO DENG and Capybara like little paradise. So I started off with the background with some like light dreamy cloud colors, and then later on as that dries I'm adding on more colorful layers on top. I wanted to do a piece that conveys the idea of a little paradise that is of someone's own. Among all the chaos and all the things that are happening around the world, there is still peace, beauty, and love somewhere in the world that is special for this one individual. So here I'm going to create a little island with rainbows and like very fun and soft, cute colors, along with our friend's favorite characters, MOO DENG as well as the capybara. So here this little island is slowly coming into place. After adding in my first layer of gouache and letting it dry, I'm now using some oil pencils to create more definition for the piece. You can see that the MOO DENG as well as the capybara is slowly coming into light. You can see the characters a little bit more before it was very blurry. And like I'm honestly wasn't super confident if I can execute this nicely because like I haven't really done commissions in a long time and I wasn't super confident in my art abilities, so I'm really glad that my friend had confidence in me that I can do this. So I just kind of kept pushing on. So the idea is to have MOO DENG and capybara in this like kind of hot spring area, and I'm doing these little rocks that are lined around the spring, and then later on I'm gonna add on these citrus in the spring water. And like I mentioned, I wanted it to be like a little piece of paradise, and I love the idea of these like little drips of color that would come down on this little island along with this rainbow river that would run around it. The colors are softer, more cutesy, like more purples, magenta, some turquoise as well, but they're not like as hard or cooler colors that I'm usually familiar with. So it was a bit of a challenge, but at the same time, like I really like how it turned out and pushed myself outside my comfort zone. So for this to come out nicely, I did have to be very patient with my artwork and make sure that the previous layer dries before adding on the next layer, or else the artwork was going to come out really murky, and that is not my intention. I want to add some cute characters because I know the recipient of this artwork, she's really cute herself and she might appreciate this, so I added in like a cute happy cloud on one side, and on the other side I did like more of a thunder lightning cloud because I think for each of us we have our good days and our bad days, and regardless if it's a good or a bad day, we have our happy place that we know we can always go back to, whether it be a physical place that you belong to or maybe like just with friends, families, or colleagues that will have your back. So here I'm using my oil pencils to add more highlight and make the little island pop a little bit more. I find that the colors were still not contrast enough. It's still very like blended in, so I do want to add a bit more highlights. Overall, this piece took me approximately, I would say at least a month to finish, from like the conceptualization of what I want to draw to the final execution. I was pretty happy with it. You can see I'm just using my oil pencils to create more gradient for the piece, but you can see some of the fluffy clouds are in the background or details that I didn't want to draw focus to, but like a lot of these details are things that you may not notice at first glance. Here I'm just adding more blues to the hot spring because I hope that my friend, when she sees it, she'll feel like very relaxed and happy by the colors and imagine her own happy place with these cute animals, maybe sipping a nice hot cup of tea or coffee and just taking a good 5-minute break when she needs it. Here I'm adding a bit more shadows to the rocks around the onsen or the spring. These are little details that people may not notice, but I feel like overall it adds so much more depth to the piece that it's not like something people will point out, I love that rock or how you added shadow to it, but like overall for the entire piece, aesthetically, like all these little details count. Now I'm adding more gradient to these paint drips that are down the side. I feel like the idea is that like the joy or happiness is kind of pouring over from this like happy place, and it's not always like super structured, and that's okay because like everything happens for a reason. And I feel like the non-structured dripping of like these beautiful colors down the side makes it look a little bit more interesting, and also represents life, how like things don't happen like perfectly all the time, but that's okay. Things will work out at the end. So now I'm just going to use my white archival ink to add on some more details to the bottom here, and also use this white ink to give highlights for the characters as well as like the trees in the background. I have to be very careful with this process because the ink does dry permanent, so there's really no Control Z or undo with this process. I also find that adding these white highlights really brings some of these characters to life, and like they pop so much more from the piece. In order to use white archival ink, you do have to have a steady hand, especially for some of these details like adding on eyebrows, let's say, to this like grumpy or like I would say spicy thundercloud. And here I'm going to add on some more highlights to the capybara. Feel like it's such a zen animal, and I hope my friend will feel the sense of zen when she is looking at this piece in her office or her home. So I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of this process video and come back and talk a little bit about the final product. So that wraps up for this commission piece of MOO DENG as well as capybara. I hope you enjoyed this art process video, and I want to thank you to my friends for giving me this opportunity to do this commission, and I also hope that the receiver enjoys it and understand like how thoughtful it was that someone thought of her and wanted to put together this piece for her. Full credit to my friend who had the idea of doing a capybara and MOO DENG character commission, because he thought it would be ultra cute with the citrus in the onsen as well. Well, thank you so much for joining me in this art process video, and I will see you next time. Take care and stay creative, everyone. Bye for now.